Mogi.
Chair. This bill enables the courts to detain any group of 10 or more people. Though there is in front of this House, of course, an amendment from Peter Dunn to extend that number to 30, and I haven't heard the Minister speak to that in terms of whether they'll be supporting that still. I missed that. So that is one of the things this bill does. This bill also limits family reunification to immediate family for those claiming refugee status after a mass arrival, and I hope to speak more on that point later. This bill provides the power for suspending processing of all refugee and protection claims by regulation without the oversight of this House. This bill removes the right of some claims to be heard before the Immigration and Protection Tribunal for subsequent claims, along with the removal of certain rights of judicial review. In short, this bill breaches the Refugee Convention, international law, our own New Zealand Bill of Rights Act. And we heard amazing submissions through the Select Committee process from a very wide range of experts in this area, in New Zealand-based groups and internationally based groups, and Australian groups who all too tragically have in-depth knowledge of policies that treat asylum seekers as if they are something to fear, who seek to say that in their country they have seen the really high consequences of treating asylum seekers in the way that this bill frames asylum seekers, in my belief. And we heard from the Human Rights Commission after this bill was reported back. So when the government's saying, well, you know, maybe there were some criticisms early, but we've made some amendments, and actually it doesn't do those terrible things that you're suggesting in this House that it does, well, let me tell you what the Human Rights Commission has said on the amended bill. They've said, and I will quote now, "The bill and associated policy changes unduly penalise asylum seekers for irregular entry to New Zealand in clear breach of Article 31 of the Refugee Convention. The detention provisions in the bill will result in arbitrary detention and breach of both New Zealand's obligations under the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights and Section 22 of the New Zealand Bill of Rights Act. The suspension of applications from nationals of specific countries without providing them protection is discriminatory and may violate the right to seek asylum as guaranteed by international law. Restrictions on the right of judicial review proposed by the bill goes against the basic and long-standing constitutional right to challenge the legal validity of government actions as protected by the New Zealand Bill of Rights Act." This is commentary on the bill in front of this House from the experts in human rights in this country. And that is the bill that we are now discussing. A bill that clearly breaches acts and conventions that we've had consensus on for 50 years. This is a big deal. And it is not something to be taken lightly. It is not something to be done at all. This bill is being promoted by the government as a deterrent to people smuggling and a just and sensible pre-planning initiative to enable it to process a group of asylum seekers. Well, that is clearly and very, very clearly contrary to the evidence that we were given in Select Committee. It does not do those things. And even if it did, it would still be breaching those fundamental rights, and there is no justification for that in this area. The only mention of people smugglers has now been added as an SOP, an amendment at a later date, except in the text justifying the bill. It was not in the content of the bill and does nothing fundamentally to address people smuggling. If this government or any party in the House who wants to support this bill disagrees with the Human Rights Commission's analysis of this bill or disagrees with my position on this bill, then I challenge them to support my SOP, which will put consistency with the convention at the front of this bill.
I'm going to call Carol Beaumont.
Chair, I appreciate the opportunity to join with colleagues